Hey everyone, this here is the LEGO Star Wars 2024 Clone Trooper and Battle Droid Battle Pack with 215 pieces. This cost me $30 US. And yeah, it's one single pack that comes with all of those. If you haven't seen it just yet, it's kind of a combination of the old Clone Trooper Battle Pack and the old Droid Battle Pack, but modernized. And it includes 3 B2 Super Battle Droids, which we've not gotten any of for quite some time. And it's actually a new mold that's stronger than the old. In my personal opinion, they look better, but, you know, nostalgia is a very, very strong thing. So I can understand if there are folks who would have preferred to see just the original mold continued and the exact original look continued forward. But these look pretty strong to me. I would say that they look more menacing than the originals did. And yeah, actually being stronger as well, so they don't break at the hip joint is always a good thing. Also, I think that these arms would sometimes break, especially at this end right here. It's very hollow, don't look good around the back. Would have been nice to have an attachment point on the back there, I will say. You know, so if you're gonna redo it, you might as well just make it possible. Even if it's not canonical, it would be nice to be able to like put a War Machine extra, you know, turret on the back or something, customize it up. These two B1 battle droids are just the same old fare, nothing new here, and they've just got a slightly different setup. See, these have an attachment point on the back. How come the better ones can't have that too? I know, it makes more sense here, but notice that one of them has the 2 bent arms, and the other one has the 2 straight arms, and of course you can swap between those as you need or want. Most importantly, the set comes with 3 Phase 2 clones that are just plain, just white, black, that's it. Which is great. We've definitely needed this plenty. I wouldn't have minded if they included even more than this in the one pack, but hey, I think that overall we're in an okay space for the amount of stuff in this set. But yeah, it's easy to make this massable, at least with the figures. Underneath there, they all do have the exact same head, which is perfectly fine because they're supposed to be clones. And it's not the old angry clone face. And it's got the darker skin tone than the original. It's just, I think most things about these are better than the original. I know a lot of folks go on and on about the helmet holes. I've given my thoughts about that up to this point, including just some really, really basic facts. Like you would have total incompatibility with all old accessories if the accessories had to be redesigned to fit the helmet hole in a better spot. I think it's a perfectly fine compromise compared to what else could have been done here, but you know, everybody has a right to have a different opinion and all. But in general, I like what I see here. The one specialized quote unquote good guy figure is just a shock trooper, just a Phase 2 shock trooper, which I think is a pretty decent decision for inclusion in here. You know, obviously in the past, quite a number of the battle packs have suffered from a specialized figure being non-massable. I feel like this one's massable enough. And when I say massable, I don't just mean, you know, for rich adults whose whole entire motivation is showing off hundreds of thousands of the same figure to adoring kids online. I'm talking about also the kids that, you know, a set like this 7+ set is made for. You know, some want to have like 2 of this set so they can set up a nice battle scene or populate seats in a lot of their vehicles that only come with a handful of figures in total for both factions. You know, just literally filling up seats and filling up spots. I feel like this is a perfectly fine one to get multiple of. You know, if you end up getting 3 of them, you're good. You know, you can even have them together in one spot. It doesn't look weird. So I think this is a good inclusion, and I think the figure looks good also. I personally am not enough of a nitpicker on the fine details of individual figures because to me, Lego minifigures are just such caricatures. As long as they generally show what they're supposed to show, I'm usually satisfied with them. I can always appreciate more detail, and I would love if these specialized ones had the colored spaulders on them as well, just consistently. I think that's one of the things that's missing the most obviously. If you just, you know, look away and then you look back at it and you compare it to the source material, that's what's missing always on clones that are not just the basic clones that are all white. But at least the prints that are here are good quality, nice and sharp and everything. And yeah, I think generally this was a good inclusion. And then this Tri-Droid is something that they haven't done in quite a while, surprisingly. And this is able to spin around here, which is good. That makes sense. And then you've also got the classic flick fire missiles all around the edges there, and you have plenty of articulation with the legs, so you can put this into, you have it angling down more. You can also have one that's been broken down, it's been beaten down, but it's still able to spin its head around a little bit. Like it's able to do all the main things that you need. It's very awkward to make these walk, but that's just how the design is. In universe, they're odd things, and they're difficult to even animate. It's interesting that this piece right here, we talked about this a lot when I was building it on Twitch. This piece right here, this lower piece, has only been in a handful of sets. This is the first time it's actually been solid. Another funny thing about this, or interesting thing about this, is that they gave it a brain. They gave it a little droid brain. They did the pink brain thing like they started doing with brickheads, except this one's iridescent, because it's a droid. It's almost like it's a little holographic thing inside. It's just cool and different, Nice pieces. This, to me, though, is the least interesting thing in the set. Hey, might be a hot take. I don't know. So you might think that I would say this is the least interesting thing, but I actually like this piece, this box piece. I've always liked it. I've always found it to be kind of fascinating. So it's just a single thermal detonator in there. And this little emplacement is actually nice. It obviously fires, and you're able to turn it from side to side completely. It has a good arc to it, and it's always angled up, so it's able to arc the shot. And it has a couple clips to hold on to minifig accessories. The clones get a 2-person speeder, and this is pretty good. I actually thought from the pictures that it looked a little bit too boxy and too old, but it's a good design. It's not too tall. It's a little bit boxy around the base, but I don't mind that for what this is. I think the pieces are fairly reusable. Again, thinking about massability, if somebody buys like 2 of these, or maybe 3 or so. And certainly if you start getting a whole bunch of them, you're able to do some interesting things with these parts. I think it's nice to get the triangle flag pieces here, the black candlestick pieces. It's able to actually shoot, so for the folks that this is made for, designed for, they can get that play feature out of it. It's easy to put 2 figures in here, and it holds on to 2 actual figure accessories, just regular blasters. So rather than doing more of the thinking back to the much maligned era when we had the stud shooters instead of regular blasters, we have just regular blasters. Would have been fine to have both, but here are just regular ones being used as a point of defense rear-facing turret as well, and just double-barreled. And hey, even these can be turned too. So the design here is pretty nice for what it is. Honestly, this though probably impresses me the most out of everything in the set, because we haven't gotten a lot of staps, but this is a nice one. It's a very, very nice one. And it's small. It's not huge. It comes with the stand as well. It's convenient, easy to put the droid on there, easy to take it off. It's got the classic megaphone elements for a little throwback. It doesn't break anything that wasn't wrong in the first place. I think it's just a good use of pieces. And this is super massive. Would have loved to have another one of these in the set even. Can't say anything bad about it. Finally, these are the leftover pieces, including extra shots for the stud and tile shooters. Obviously, by now you can tell that I like the set, and the price of $30 US, 30 euros, 25 pounds UK, $40 Canadian actually seems kind of okay. Technically, there are 9 figures here. I don't like to count the B1s as full figures because there's just so little there, and they're just so massable. But yeah, I think the value is surprisingly reasonable. If I had designed this myself, I probably would have chosen, like I said, another one of these, another staff, and then another another B1 or 2, just because they're such expendable units. And you can reduce this down, take this down to just a smaller emplacement, little command station, an analog to this, something like that. So you've got 1 speeder here, 2 smaller speeders there, emplacement, more figures on this side than on this side. You've got that asymmetric warfare thing going on. I think that would have been better in my personal opinion, but hey, that's just one person's opinion. All in all, at least they give you good bones here, good figures, massability, decent price. Can't complain overall. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.